Hey guys, Mr.Broud coming at you here from Panther Automotive. Today we're talking about lesson 31, engine gaskets and valve adjustment. And when we're talking about gaskets, we want to make sure that you understand that some of the work that you will be doing is going to include diagnosing our engine gaskets for engine oil leaks or other various leaks like coolant, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, differentials, that kind of stuff. In this case, our customer here with this H3 has complained that they have a few oil spots on their floor, and what we've done is gone ahead and put in some UV dye. All right, you can buy this for engine oil, you can buy this for power steering fluid, coolant, and what you want to do is take a good look at the engine before you do anything and see if there's anything obvious. Want to make sure we don't have any gaping holes, a giant crack in the side of the block, or cylinder head, valve cover cracked, anything crazy like that for extreme circumstances. Double check those kind of things. So when we're talking about engine oil leaks, we're going to use an engine oil specific dye, and we want to look at the vehicle and find the drips. Where are those drips happening? Diagnose that with your customer. Quiz the customer about where are you seeing the oil leaks? What, have you noticed it? How long has it been doing it? Is there a color to it? Is there a smell to it? Do you see, hear, taste, anything? Quiz your customers about that kind of stuff. And in this case, we had a small puddle of oil under the vehicle. It had not moved for several days, and did get a good look at the drip. And what you want to do is when you find those kind of drips on this particular vehicle, we had to follow it forward to the front of the vehicle until it got dry, and then start looking up. All right, so when gravity holds on to and pulls on those liquids that are leaking out, they're going to seep down, and then as you drive, they're going to blow towards the back of the vehicle. All right, so again, you want to follow those forward and then up in order to find those. All right, anything obvious, you can probably make a good determination, but a lot of times you're going to need to really pinpoint, and you may have more than one leak. So in this case, what we've done is wash the engine off with a good engine degreaser, a heavy-duty soap. I like the product called Grease Lightning, Purple Power, Simple Green, Engine Oil Eater. Those kind of things will certainly degrease an engine. You don't want to pressure wash the engine, but spray it down with the engine cool. All right, let that stuff soak in for a bit, and then rinse that stuff off real good. And again, just using the pressure from the hose. You don't need a big jet of spray nozzle on there. You're not steam cleaning anything, and you certainly don't want to push any water past any weather packs or anything. All right, and again, you're going to install your dye, and you're going to need a special pair of UV glasses and a special UV light. All right, this UV light is actually double-ended, and this actually makes the oil fluoresce. And you have to have the glasses on, and it actually will look about like my shirt right there. It will fluoresce real good, and the oil will show up in places around where there are leaks. In this case, we're going to take a look here underneath the vehicle and see what we see. Okay. So here we are underneath the vehicle. In this case, the vehicle's got some very large skid plates, and I do have the lights on here so you guys can see underneath. I've got my UV light, and what I'm going to do is go around here and take a good look and make sure that you're not diagnosing anything that is like for example, the water dripping off of the air conditioning. That is a big thing down here in Florida. The water dripping off can actually bring some residual oil with it. All right, so you want to make sure that that's not something that the customer's complaining about. You just first realized it or something. You definitely want to double check that as not the case. All right, but as you start looking around here, you're going to look real close, and again, once you find your leak, you're going to go forward and up in order to look for it. All right, and in this case, you can actually see on the bottom of the engine, and it's going to be impossible for me to share with you guys underneath here, but what we do have is a valve cover that's leaking down the back of the transmission, all right, and giving us a bit of residual oil on the back of the transmission. Let's see if we can get you guys up in here. And here we are. And again, it would be hard for you guys to see this without the yellow light glasses on, but what's happening is on the bell housing of the transmission here and the transmission pan, we have oil leaking down from the valve cover. I've followed that way up, all right, and that's going to be where our leak is. Oops, sorry about that. And we're going to have to give the customer a price on what it's going to cost. We have, like I said, cleaned the engine all off, and it's clean and oil free. We've put the oil dye in, and the customer drove it around for about a week. All right, and then we just diagnosed that it's leaking from the valve covers itself, and in doing that, we're going to have to probably take several things apart on this particular vehicle. I know that the intake manifold is in the way of some of the bolts for the valve cover. We've got a 5-cylinder engine, and this has direct ignition, so the ignition coils, those will have to come out. They have a tube seal around them. The valve cover has a seal around it, the intake, all right? And in doing all of that inspection here, we also noticed that the intake manifold was actually dripping a little bit of oil too. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Obviously those have to come off. A couple other things in this particular case, the alternator has to come off, and several other things in order to get to it. It's a big job, 5-6 hour job to do a valve cover on this, and you have to take the wheels off a big vehicle like this. And take the wheels off a little easier to lower it down for someone shorter in stature like myself, where I can actually get to where I want to reach in the back of the engine compartment and stuff. But so what we're going to do is give the customer a idea of what it's going to cost, get some parts together, and we'll make sure that we get the okay from the customer, and maybe see you back here in the shop with a tore down top of the engine.